All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Getting ready to start our Making Progress edition of the Community Conversations. As always, thank each and every one of you for tuning in. We'll be getting started very shortly. So thank you, each and every one of you, as always, for tuning in.
122 years. St. Bernard's Healthcare is a nonprofit organization.
It's 9:01. KLEK Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. Views expressed in this program are those of the participants, not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriting voice.
KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Monday. It's February 6, 2023. This is Community Conversations, and because it is the first Monday in February, it is our Making Progress segment. And of course, since this is a politically themed edition of Community Conversations, we have to get a disclaimer. KLK and the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, we do not endorse, support, or oppose any candidate or political party. We provide these for informational purposes, but as always, we encourage you to stay informed. And join us today is Renay Williams of the Craighead County Democratic Party and Chenoa Summers, also of the Craighead County Democratic Party. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And what's on your mind?
Well, Laganzi, once again, thank you for having us. So far, 2023 has been wild. Obviously, the state legislature has been filing a ton of bills, so it's a busy season. My news for this episode is mostly just to tell people how to get involved in order to hold the elected officials who represent them accountable. We have the Democratic Party of Craighead County, obviously. You can join that by going to craigheaddems.org, and membership is free. And we do a lot of different projects, both educational for people who want to learn how the legislative process works, but we also do like community projects. Our community service team is very active, and so you can give back to your community that way. And then you can also join the new Democratic Party of Arkansas Progressive Democrats Caucus. And if you would like to get involved with that, you can reach out to me here on Facebook and I will hook you up. We're very new. We're a very new organization. We're just now getting like properly formed. And the membership fee for that, I think there's a bunch of different levels depending on like what your financial situation is. But it is a statewide caucus. So it's a great way to get involved if the county party isn't your speed or you want a larger organization and you want to work across different coalitions. And obviously, since it's auxiliary of the Democratic Party of Arkansas, you're going to probably be working with more of the other auxiliaries, and the state party officials more. And those are the main ways to get involved. I'm also going to shout out here the Friends of the Library, for the Friends of the Craighead County Jonesboro Public Library. Obviously, we're always looking for new members. You can head to libraryinjonesboro.org to find out how to get involved with the Friends of the Library, supporting our library, given the events of last year where the library funding was cut in half by a bunch of fascists. So that's it. So if you're interested in any of these things, please give me a shout. I'd be happy to help you get involved.
And before we go to Chenoa, I want to just kind of circle back to what you said about several community service projects. What are some of those community service projects?
Right, the community service team for the Democratic Party of Craighead County, every month we collect items for different nonprofits, like the NEA Family Crisis Center, the Hub, so different food pantries. We collect the items at our monthly business meetings. And we provide a list like a few weeks like the few weeks preceding the meeting, we tell people what we need and we ask them to either bring those things to the meeting or arrange pickup with us. And another big project that we're doing is our highway cleanup. We adopted a stretch of highway along Highway 49, like right before Brooklyn and like right after the Farmville curve. And 4 times a year we go out and we clean that up. And our next cleanup is March 18th. And I'm happy that if you don't have to be a member of the party to help us clean our highway. Like if you like to clean up litter and keep Crockett County looking nice, we welcome all comers. You can hit me up and I will send you the sign up link with all the directions. And our community service team is really, really great. They work really hard to give back to the community as much as possible. And the bigger, more successful the team gets, the more projects we can take on. So if you are interested in community service, I'm sure the team would love for you to join the committee and reach out to get involved with their work.
Okay, we're speaking with members of the Craighead County Democratic Party of Craighead County. This is our Making Progress segment on community conversations. And let's go to our Facebook shout out. Shout out to Nora Hunt, who says, good morning, Kaylee K. Well, good morning, Nora. Always a pleasure to have you on. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can drop them on our Facebook live feed. So now we're going to turn over to Chenoa Summers, who has some things that she wants to discuss as well.
Yes, and just one more organization, because I'm part of the Education Caucus through the Democratic Party of Arkansas. We're trying to get more people involved, specifically educators, to help unify educators across the state so we can put more pressure on the legislature to actually give educators a living wage. And to get involved with that, just send me a Facebook message and I can connect you to the right people and the forum and everything. So what I'm going to talk about is Moms for Liberty. That's kind of been a hot topic here locally for, I don't know, several months, but especially in the last month, because the Craighead County chapter has recently started like in-person meetings. And honestly, this group, Moms for Liberty, it's a far-right hate group that targets primarily LGBTQIA+ people, but also people from other backgrounds, other religious backgrounds that don't align with Christianity, people of color, and scientists as well. They're very anti-vax, anti-science as well. So I'm just wanting to bring awareness to this quite frankly fascist group that we have going on here in Craighead County that's been at the forefront of trying to ban books based on their religious preferences. And last month at the library board meeting, which KLEK streamed, you can go back and watch that. I basically outline all of the things that are wrong with the way they're wanting to label books, which is essentially another form of censorship. A lot of it, again, has to do with sexual orientation, transgender issues, racial issues, socioeconomic issues. And as we all know, our library was recently defunded. It was cut, the funding was cut in half back in November. And although various far-right organizations here in Craighead County have said it's because the library needs to manage their money better, really the reason why is because the library refuses to back down on having books available for everybody, not just this far-right subset of people. And I just want to read just a few quotes about Moms for Liberty. So here in Craighead County, they were called Safe Library Books for Kids Arkansas. I call that kind of the off-brand form of Moms for Liberty, but they do now have an official chapter. But they they falsely claim that it stands against government overreach and intimidation tactics, while at the same time trying to ban books about Martin Luther King Jr., Ruby Bridges, other Black authors, such as one book that comes to mind for me because I read it was All Boys Aren't Blue, George M. Johnson. They tried so hard to get that banned at our library, but thankfully our library board stood firm and didn't take it off the shelf. So that's one that's from GLAAD as well, a GLAAD article. Moms for Liberty formed in Florida. It's very well connected to far-right politicians like Ron DeSantis, who else? Eric Trump, Rand Paul, these celebrity figures that you often hear about. It's also pushed by far-right propaganda machines like PragerU, the Heritage Foundation, which is notoriously racist, very anti-CRT. But going back to the library board meeting back in January, I brought forth some information because I infiltrated several Moms for Liberty meetings. And what is at the heart of this is this notion of keeping a pure, white, cis-het Christian public face. Anything that conflicts with that, they want to crush and eliminate. And like I said during my speech, they have this rating system that's from 0 to 5, 0 being, I guess, the best books in their opinion, and 5 being the worst. Queer books were labeled as 5, and anything that mentions any sort of racial issues starts at 4, but often is labeled 5. So yeah, I just wanted to bring awareness to this group. If you hear about it, just know that they're very fascist. They want to ban books. That's at the core of their mission. If it doesn't align with Christian cishet white male privilege, then they want it off the shelf. Oh, and I do want to mention just a little bit about their funding. It's not very clear who funds Moms for Liberty. They claim that they get by with t-shirts and other donations, but they're connected to Koch brother groups.
Okay, so in regards to this information in which you are presenting, what is the Craig County Democratic Party and those that are opposed to this Moms for Liberty group, what are the plans to counter the things that they're trying to do?
Well, we've already had one protest that was back in January. We had about, I don't know, it was about 20 people outside and then about 10 of our people inside, and we outnumbered them. That was when Dan Sullivan came to speak about the different bills he was planning to propose or work with other people to propose, including a lot of the extremist bills that we see, like SB 81, SB 43.
And for those that may not be aware of, could you explain what those bills are, SB 41 and SB 83, I believe you said?
So SB 43, that was formerly the anti-drag bill, but they kind of gutted that, and it no longer contains any language about drag performers. But that was one of the big ones that they were pushing. But the other one that's a little bit more pressing and scary, quite frankly, is SB 81, which is the obscenity bill. Essentially, this could put libraries and librarians in jeopardy. They want to jail librarians for offering books like All Boys Aren't Blue, for instance. Anything, again, that doesn't line up with their worldview that's very far right and extremist.
Okay, and are there any additional protests planned?
I think we were trying to do one for their February meeting, but because of the ice storm, like that just didn't happen. I think they canceled their meeting anyway. But other than that, we're trying to write letters to the editor of the Jonesboro Sun and just bring general awareness to this group so we can have a bigger force to fight back.
Okay, and of course, and Renee also can chime in on this. What about efforts for voter registration and voter education? Because regardless of how anyone stands on the issues, I think anyone can agree that participation in the political process is not at the level it should be. So what steps are going to be taken to get more people involved, to reach those who may feel like their voice doesn't matter or just may not know what's going on in general?
Well, when I think about voter registration, voter education, because where we live has been so crushed under voter suppression, what you have to realize is that you have to have like 3 different conversations. You have to turn a non-voter into a voter. Then you have to educate them on the political system. And then you have to help them like vote for candidates and issues that will help support their communities. And for people who are extremely disillusioned and demoralized by our current political process and the voter suppression that happens, you can't have all these discussions like at the same time. So and sometimes they don't even happen in that order. And sometimes they're even harder because you have to convince people it even matters, that their voice is going to be taken seriously. So as far as the party is concerned, we are looking into ways to develop relationships with voters and talk to them about the political process. Because just like the voter suppression in Arkansas is interesting, because Arkansas used to be like a really strong union state. There were a lot of socialist organizations in Arkansas's past, actually. And as we have seen unions be demonized here in our state, you've also seen that like collective action in various other spheres drop, right? So voting, right, is a form of collective action. But if collective action has been demonized by right-wing propaganda, obviously any sort of collective action is going to be viewed with like suspicion, or this isn't going to accomplish anything, or whatever message the propaganda has convinced people to believe about collective action. And so we have to, our job is really like, we have our work cut out for us, right? Because we have to undo all the propaganda to teach people that their individual vote is really, really powerful when they link up with other people who share their values.
Go ahead.
And so, yeah, so doing that work is going to be very time consuming, and we need all hands on deck if you care about voting, to talk to the people in your life, but also come and work with us to talk to people you might not know, because the more of us there are, the faster we can undo the propaganda that's demoralized a lot of our voters.
All right, got about 30 seconds left. Anything else that you all want to say that we may not have covered?
There's a library board meeting on February 13th, I believe at 5 p.m. at the library. That's a good way to get involved, at least to help push back against Moms for Liberty, but also to meet people like me and Renee to help get involved just in your community. All
right, and of course, we will bring that to you live on KLK. That's going to do it for this edition of Making Progress on Community Conversations. KLK and the Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. We do not endorse, support, or oppose any candidate or political party. We are neutral on the issues, but we do encourage you to exercise your right to vote. Of course, we're not inside with election season, but still get involved, get people registered to vote. Start those conversations about the issues, attend city council meetings, quorum court meetings, library meetings, all of these meetings these different organizations have, because the decisions will affect you. All right, that's going to do it. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is Kate, LEK, 102.5 FM. All right, ladies, thank you all and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.